It's the Daily Drama Podcast with Stephen Bradford, presented by dailydrama.com, your one-stop shop for soap news, recaps, commentaries, spoilers, presented by or given to you by this dumb face sometimes.
It's awesome.
And
Insight. Is that good? Because we could talk about stuff, like we're going to talk about.
That's right.
I don't think there's any other podcast that can give the insight necessarily that we do, because we're live on the ground.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Because I know there's a question you're going to ask me, and I have a question to ask you about that question, which is going to be good. So I love to be able to do this anyway, but now that we can talk about the real behind the scenes.
For sure.
Right.
Right.
So, because there's a behind the scenes question that I have to ask you.
Okay, great. So if you haven't, if you're watching us on YouTube, if you're listening to us on the podcast, on a podcast app, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts, if you haven't gone over to dailydrama.com yet, check it out. There's a great newsletter over there. You can get specific updates about whatever your favorite shows are. Great people over there. Steve, we have to announce some giveaway winners at some point.
Yeah, the winners. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm traveling a little. I'm trying to find these black T-shirts, but we could just buy some too.
That's true.
I could just buy the brand that I use. We could sign them.
That's right.
We could wash them, and you can make them smell good.
Well,
should I spray some of my cologne on there too?
I think so. I think that would be.
That might be good. I don't know. This is getting weird now.
It sure is. So head on over to dailydrama.com. Get on the email list because it makes you eligible for giveaways. And also you get great content, a lot of which include Steve and myself. So
yes,
for
sure.
So this week we wanted to, it was a really we're recording this on Wednesday, really fun episode Tuesday that I was involved in, really interesting episode Monday that Steve was involved in. And
let's start with you.
Okay. So I didn't know Spinelli was a DJ.
I wish you really were, because we could be on the road.
So all of a sudden, and I didn't even, I looked at the script and I was like, wow, okay. So, Maxie obviously was part of the, planning. She was the maid of honor. So I think she had some planning jobs with, with Lois, planning Brooklyn's bachelor party. So I show up and she's a little curious about my playlist. And I said it worked really well at Bruce Cooperman's bar mitzvah last week. So it's not just like, it's not like I was like, I'll come out,
wait a minute.
I'll flex
what's going on here?
I'll flex my DJ muscles at this, no, I did a bar mitzvah the week before. So evidently I'm a DJ for hire.
Is this a passion for Spinelli?
That's a good question. But it's also,
you want me to get some answers for you?
What's funny is one of our cameramen is named Bruce Cooperman. And that
is Bruce. You're right. That's funny.
And he came over and he's like, thanks for DJing my party last week. And
that's amazing, dude.
He's like, he's a middle-aged cameraman. I think he had his bar mitzvah for quite some time ago.
Yes, he did.
But
that's really funny, dude.
Yeah. So but it was great. I was the only male in attendance.
Well, I saw some, I don't know. I was scrolling through something. It might've been on Daily Drama where you were just freaking a wild maniac. What were you doing? Dancing a storm? What were you doing?
Well, so one of the fun things that happened that, if you want to rewatch and look back on, I think if you're a viewer, if you haven't seen it yet, look out for this. If you've already seen it, maybe go back. So when Joss and Christina were fighting about Sonny, because Joss thinks he's a bad guy, Christina is trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, and so they're at odds.
They got beef right now.
Yeah, which totally makes sense. Like if you look behind when they're on Christina, when they're on Kate Mansi, the actress, look behind her. So after I did my little dance move, which was really fun, and Trina, that was Tabiana, we had so much fun together. Everybody was dancing together, and I was like, Tabiana, do you know like the the shuffle, or like, or I forget what group dance everybody does at weddings right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, so we started doing like a group kind of like line dance, but not country line
Yeah, yeah.
dance, but like one of those
Yeah, yeah,
choreographed,
but yeah, yeah.
right? So if you look during this really like where those two girls are kind of at each other's throats a little bit, look behind her and you'll see the whole room doing like a line dance. And
That's
everyone,
amazing.
so it was me and Tabiana that were trying to kind of, but Kirsten was doing it. Jane was really trying to get into it, which was awesome.
Yeah, I think there's a Cupid shuffle or something.
Yeah,
There's
the
one.
Cupid. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's maybe the
Yeah,
Cupid
yeah,
shuffle.
yeah. Because they do it at my daughter's dances all the time. It's so funny.
Totally.
Yeah,
So, and I saw it. You can definitely see us doing it.
so
Which,
funny.
well, because I remember it was such a fun day of filming. Like it was such a great group of people, like so many, just great group of actresses that, they brought in some background people, which were awesome too. Everybody was awesome. We had a great time. And it was just so not ridiculous
I saw you that day though, right? That's
yeah,
the day I did see
when
you.
when we filmed
did the video.
backstage,
Yes,
I was
yes,
wearing
yes,
that
yes.
suit with
Okay,
yeah.
okay, so that's the day that I had the monitor on in my room.
Mm.
And so this is what I was going to ask you. I don't know what ended up happening, because I was just in my room for a second and I saw them discussing you being the photographer or not being the photographer.
Yes.
Because I heard Rob say, well, we don't have a photographer, but I thought it'd be good if Spinelli was a photographer. And then they said something, and then Frank was like, what's going on? So what happened?
So what happened was, they wanted to do a photo booth, right? But they
Right.
thought it would be cool is if, rather than setting up a photo booth, I was the photographer, because basically I'm just, I'm the one guy. Let's make him do everything, which made sense.
Well, a lot of DJs might do photos too.
For sure, for sure. So the idea was they set up a whole thing with flash bulbs and everything, and then they had a good camera. And like, do you know how to take pictures? I was like, actually, I do. I think I could do a good job of this. So,
You can.
so I was excited to do it. Then we got up there, and we were so close, and the background was such.
Oh,
I looked in there, everything was blown out. Everything
yeah,
was.
you couldn't do it. Yeah.
It was too bright. You couldn't see faces. Because they wanted the flash bulbs there because it made a cool effect.
Sure.
But everything was overexposed. There was nothing I could
Interesting.
do. There was
Yeah.
nothing I could do. So they were like, okay, well, how are we going to get the pictures? I guess we got to do this and then take the pictures afterwards. And then I think it was either Michelle or MK, the producer, came out and she's like, have them look into the camera and we'll just take stills from the video.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
so basically what ended up happening, but that took a bit because we were trying to problem solve it. And then the timing, the remote, because they wanted me to be, I was still making the flashes go off.
Sure.
So they wanted flash bulbs, which I had to do with the thing. And sometimes it didn't react. The remote didn't react to the thing.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Or it took like a bit of a delay.
Yeah.
So, and then they wanted me to ad lib, and I'm not sure if these ad libs, that's the one part of the episode that didn't get clipped on Instagram. So I actually want to go back and watch that, because they were like every group that came up, they were like, hey, Bradford, can you ad lib something to get them to do things? So,
Sure.
right.
Of course you can. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, absolutely. But, like when each person came up, like I tried to do something unique and fun.
And character.
In character, but
Yeah.
I didn't overthink that. So I don't know how the picture,
Interesting.
the array of pictures went, but that was the technical issue that we were trying to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was doing the pictures, they said, don't look at him, look straight into camera, play to camera as if you're playing into my camera, but play into the actual camera.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
yeah, it was
That's
fun.
cool.
It was fun. It was fun to wear that suit again. And, but dancing with everybody was so fun.
Yeah. Well, dancing's fun.
Yeah. And thinking about what I was going to do for my signature, cause I was doing I forget what I was doing, and then Trina's like, "I see you, I see you," and
Yeah.
then
Spinelli's got some signature moves, huh?
my line was, "What I lack in ability, I make up for in exuberance or commitment," or I forget what the
Yeah.
line was, and then I did a little shimmy.
Oh
Um,
boy.
yeah. So anyway, it's
That's fun, dude.
yeah. So I think, and that's what I love about this storyline. And they were the boys were having their bachelor party at the axe throwing place. And what I love about it seems where this wedding love, like, it's an opportunity for a lot of your favorite characters to experience something that's just to enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
And within those moments, yeah, there may be some dramatic elements or people hashing out what, but ultimately it's a celebration
Yeah.
of love and community and family.
Yeah. It's cool. Like,
And
you make a good point in the sense that, that these big group scenes aren't common anymore,
no,
right? The nurses ball would be kind of the only one,
right,
but before, if somebody had a party like that, or there wouldn't have been that many people there,
no,
you know what I mean?
right,
So it's like they're looking to, I don't know if it's a production value thing, if it's a story thing, because we do have new writers who
yeah,
who have been there for a long time, and a lot of the changes that you're seeing are very indicative of the past, in the sense that now scenes are 2 to 4 pages.
mm,
Like, it's not just a 1 pager. Sometimes I have a 6 page scene, like the old days.
yeah,
Like, they're really starting to tell story, like,
yeah,
and take their time and not rush. Right. So there's a lot of cool things that are nostalgic in the way of how production's going for us,
yeah,
that we can have these big group scenes, that we are doing longer scenes, that we're not moving as fast.
sure,
We're not getting caught up in the modern age of, hey, we got to move 1 page scenes, 1 page
right,
scenes
right,
for 40 minutes. And you're like, wait, nothing's being built. Nothing's happened.
sure,
Right.
yeah,
You could have a 1 page scene where there's, a solution, or you hear of a problem or whatever, but relational, we need those.
absolutely,
We
yeah,
would have those scenes every day, dude. That's
yeah,
how we built a relationship,
yeah, yeah,
so it's
yeah.
pretty cool, man. I'm
Um,
excited about that.
and I don't know, there's something like in previous years, whether it was a nurse's ball, like you could, if you're gonna do a cast heavy thing, once or a couple times a year, yeah, I mean the nurse's ball is interesting because you get to see people perform, but I feel like in the nurse's ball you don't see characters relate to each other
Correct.
as much as you do in a scene like we just did, or in a wedding,
Right.
um and because everyone's at tables, yes, you get the looks when someone sings a romantic song, you get the people looking at each other, and like you do all that stuff, but I don't know, like watching our character, and this is something I'm curious that I would, curious what our listeners think, watching our characters like have fun, like genuine fun. Like, how do our characters relate to each other at a bachelorette party, at a party?
Hmm.
Like watching our characters like celebrate and have fun. I imagine that's interesting to watch. Obviously, it's not high drama and it's not like
Yeah,
life or
I think it's a breather.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think also there's the aspect of, a lot of the cast members haven't done big stuff like this, big group events, and it's
sure.
fun.
I don't know if you saw it. So when they, oh, I almost knocked over my coffee. So Jane Tracy was Brooklyn asked her to dance. She's like, I'm not gonna dance. And then Jocelyn came up. She's like, Bobby would have danced. And she's like, you know what? You're right. So I'll get out there. First thing she did is turn around and shakes her butt right to camera, right to camera. And I'm like,
Jane's the best.
Jane's the best. And also
Yeah.
like people that like that character Tracy, how interesting is that to watch
It's amazing.
Tracy be like, you know what? Screw it. Here's my butt.
Yeah, what's interesting is Finola we were watching Jane do some scenes, and Finola goes, it's really interesting what she's doing. And I didn't really watch the scenes, And I got goosebumps just saying that. And I go, is she starting to play things a little softer, like more compassionate? And she goes, yeah. I go, wow, that's an interesting choice, right? To start being a little more not so hard, as Tracy's always been, and
Well,
cutthroat.
look at her place. Look at her place in the show. Like, and I would love
Yeah,
to talk to Jane about this.
yeah,
Um,
she's awesome.
her granddaughter's getting married, right? Like,
Yeah.
right? Brooklyn's her granddaughter,
Yeah, yeah.
grand Ned's her son, right?
Yeah, yep, yep.
Yep. She is, obviously Leslie's not around, as Monica's not around right now, right? So
Correct.
she is like kind of the matriarch of the
Yeah,
show,
matriarch of the show. Yeah, yeah.
you know?
And
Whether
she's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
You know,
And I got to tell you, she's always been a blast. Oh, it's
totally. Yeah.
always fun to work with Jane. But like she had so much fun that day. And
Yeah.
I feel like that is that is great leadership. Do you know?
100%.
So
she's just a great woman.
yeah, yeah.
She's just awesome.
It's so wonderful to have her.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
100%.
yeah, so much fun. All right. Well, so that was a great day. Now something a little less fun, I guess. So Danny climbed into your apartment to see you and tried on your jacket.
Yeah.
That sounds like something Spinelli would have done.
Well, you probably did do that.
Absolutely, I did. I remember having that day.
100%. You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, look, Sam's not a fan
No, we'll get
of
to
him
that.
hanging out with me. Yeah, we'll get
Well,
to that, but
she told him
yeah, but I
specifically
thought,
she couldn't.
look, I mean, it's, it's a compliment. The kid wants to come in, put my jacket on.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, get my jacket off, you little
Right.
rat. No,
Did you put on your deodorant this morning, kid? Don't stink up my jacket.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, it's cool. Like, it's cool that a kid, the kid, looks up to me. Thank you for that. I mean, that's nice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we do have things in common that I think will be more expressed coming up.
Right.
That he's a little bit of a danger guy.
Okay.
Likes to push the limits a little bit, like Jason did.
Yeah.
I mean, he does still, but
Right.
And
And then
it's cool because if we remember this conversation in a month or two, we can have or go in a little more detail about stuff. But
yeah.
yeah, we're just trying to have this relationship. But he's a teenager, and we're navigating that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his cell phone, and and real life problems, real life stuff. And I take him back to Sam's, and she isn't happy. She isn't happy with it.
Right. Right. I mean, she's intent on just not limiting or completely stopping any contact between the two of you.
Well, I mean, logically, there is danger if I'm around.
Right. Right.
So how do we? So it's either you see your son or you don't,
Right.
or how do we navigate that to the best of our ability?
Right.
Right? Is it location that's safer?
In terms of meeting in this location?
And no, I'm saying if I'm meeting Danny or doing stuff with Danny, I'm just thinking outside right now. This is not even about
Sure. Like,
the
is it
show or
always
the writers? Is it like, am I going to meet him on the docks? Probably not.
no Pier
What,
55? No.
Would I rather meet him in in my room at Bobby's? Sure, it's
Sure.
safer. If
Well-
something were to happen, I can probably take care of some business. If you're out in the open all the time, I don't know. Like, who knows?
Right. Well, but I mean,
what are the parameters? What are the boundaries? What are the rules?
how comfortable do you feel in the old penthouse?
What do you mean?
Sam lives in your own house, in your old house.
Yeah. What do you mean? How did I feel?
Well,
It was
no.
weird walking back in there, by the way.
That was one of my questions. It's like,
Yeah, it was kind of weird walking back in there again.
yes,
I mean, dude, I spent so much time in there.
I'm aware.
And you did too.
Well,
I mean, but But I mean, I spent like my life in there.
That's true. That's true.
So it's like coming back to it was straight. It was like going to an old house.
It's a little bright. It's a little brighter. It's not as
Yeah, it's brighter.
it's not as
Yeah,
beige.
not a fan. Just putting that out there. Set design's amazing. I love you.
Yeah. It's a good
But
layout.
it's yeah, man. I mean, but the first thing you walk in, what do you think? When you walk in first, what do you think? Like if you were just to walk in and go, it's different, what are you thinking?
No pool table.
No pool table.
Right.
Well, no, that was it. And then it reminds me of the scene when we did Welcome Ho.
Yeah. Because the
It
fireplace
always-
is still there.
when I
There's the
walk in,
mantle, right?
Yeah, the mantle's still there. I
Yeah.
mean, it's so many memories in that place for me, dude. Like it's so crazy. Like
Is
I
it-
can think of so many.
Is it a different couch?
You coming down the stairs
Dude,
all the time.
I walked up there. There was I had that set was up, and I had some time, and I went to the top of the stairs and just kind of sat there, and because I remember being up there, waiting to come in, waiting to
Oh,
like
so much, right? And
that-
Craig was there behind there with you.
yeah,
Craig was behind.
that little
So cool.
as you guys probably know that's a staircase that leads to nowhere, but
It's a
there-
stairway to nowhere for
stairway
sure.
to nowhere, but there's a little, up where that landing would be. There's like a, panel where you hide behind
You
when you
make
have
a
to
left.
make
There's a little platform that they build or bring in that you can
Yeah.
stand there and not,
And
but
I
yeah, I don't think there's a mirror there anymore by the closet. There used to be the mirror there. Remember when you saw the clown face?
that's right. Against, if you open the door right to the left, there
Right
was
to
a
the left,
full
yeah.
a full length mirror.
Yeah, and that was my mirror where you just do we all would do the pre-check in that mirror.
It was amazing having a mirror on set.
I mean, we would just be
Not
all
great
like,
for-
okay, are we good?
Not great for lights and cameras though. Like
No, they would see the bounce a lot, but it's okay. But it was great for us. Like,
oh my gosh.
and that was amazing. So
Now
that's
you got to
gone.
hold up your phone and look in your
Now
selfie.
you gotta
yeah.
say, does anyone have a mirror?
Or look up your nose, make sure you got no boogies.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had some good scenes. Sam and Jason. And I said, hey, look, I'll respect boundaries and we're just gonna try to make this work.
Right.
You
Are
know?
you having similar what are the conversations? Well, okay. Does Jake live with Elizabeth now? Where does Jake live?
Yes, with Elizabeth, yes.
So he's still in high school.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Are there any boundaries with seeing Jake, or do you know
He
what I'm
doesn't
saying?
want to see me.
Jake does not want to see you.
No, he doesn't want to see me.
Oh, okay. So that's easier.
Yeah, that's way easier. He doesn't care. I'm sure he wants to see me, but he's not a fan right now.
Okay, great.
He's not a fan. He's a little angry, but that's cool. You can be angry.
Well, but also
He's got some fire. It's good.
well, it's just interesting, like, obviously having two kids that are trying to figure this out, but also their moms, right? Like seeing how, how Sam and Elizabeth chart this as well, and what boundaries they set. Like that's also, there's so much interesting story to play there is all I mean.
For sure.
Right. And it's so fraught in so many ways, which is awesome.
I mean, you're right. There's so much, what's the word? Like, it's
So
so much
fertile.
Yeah, so much there. It's alive.
Yeah.
Like as
Yeah.
soon as you walk in, there's like, what's going to happen
Right.
with the kids? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of,
Yeah.
it's very interesting. It's like how they set up everything has been really, I'm lost for words today, but it's just been really intricate in how things are rolling out.
Yeah.
And we already have the history of the characters there, but it's just rolling out in a way that just provides so much
Yeah.
meat in
Right.
the story that you're like, with me and Sonny, me and Carly, me and Sam, me and Elizabeth, me
Right.
and Jake, me and
Right.
Danny, me and Monica when I see her, it's just like it just never ends.
Right.
Me and you, like
Well-
it's everything could be rebuilt. And I know that it's not about me, but
No,
it affects your
course.
character,
Yeah.
like coming back. What are we gonna do?
Sure.
Right?
Well,
What's our future? It's pretty cool. It's
Well,
really fun.
a lot of people have asked, why have our characters not seen each other? And and I the reason why I think it's great is because in you coming back, it wasn't just like a reestablishment, like, oh, Jason's back, let's just make everything back the way it was,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
or and like when it comes to you and I don't know, when it comes to you and me, I don't know. Yeah, there could be some drama there if they wanted to play, if they wanted to write something about us being at odds. That's something interesting, I suppose. But ultimately, you have so many other, there are so many other things to explore there that if you just all of a sudden put us back together, that almost is like just
Sure.
going back to something versus going forward to something. Do you know what I'm saying? In a way,
No, I
I'm
do. No, I do totally understand
not
that.
to say
Yeah.
that
And
we're not to say that we're old news or boring. It's not that. It's like we know that'll be there. Let's let
well, and I think I think it's also what the writers are going. He has great connections with these characters. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's look at the characters. Boom, 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 boom.
Right.
Why are we going to blow it all in the beginning?
Sure.
Because there is something there with us. There's going
Oh
to be
yeah.
something there
Oh
with
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
doubt about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I also think what you said is for this character, for Jason, with other characters that we know,
Right.
there are already obstacles and hurdles
Yes.
to get that relationship back to okay.
Right.
And I just don't think they would do that with us.
Right.
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 Because the familiar part is like, hey, give this guy something that is familiar that he doesn't have to worry about and he can trust and it
Sure.
feels good. And
Sure.
the fans love watching this interaction. So, but it is interesting what you said about what's coming, what the progression will be.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Now that I'm who Jason is and you're who Spinelli is, what's that look like?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to show probably things of the past that people enjoyed, but what's the future? What's the maturity of us
Right.
as a duo, essentially,
Yeah.
you know? So it's
Yeah.
pretty interesting, man. It's really cool.
All right. We get a couple questions from our friends at Daily Drama, and
Let's do it.
I think one of obviously we'll change her mind later and allow Danny to see his father. We kind of, who knows, right? Like,
Look, in fairness to Sam's character, because sometimes for characters, it's hard to take a one stance and just play that every scene.
yeah.
For Kelly or for Sam, right? Where,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
we're like, you're a danger. Okay,
Right.
we know I'm a danger.
Right.
Right.
So,
Right. But I think she has a valid place to come from.
Yeah.
If I'm an actor,
Right.
I'm looking at, she has a valid place to come from where it's your kid.
Yeah.
This guy is dangerous.
Yeah.
I would be going, hey, what are you doing?
Right.
Where are you with my kid? Is it safe? What's going on? Even though she knows my intention is to keep the kid safe.
Sure.
But I would still go, where's the kid? Where are you? Are you guys okay? What's happening? What's going on? Don't
Right.
go there. Why would you go there?
Right.
Right. And I think for some, actors or actresses in a situation where you're constantly bringing up, hey, you're dangerous. But I feel like she has a really valid point.
Well, and also she's in a pretty stable,
know.
like she,
Well, especially with the stuff that's going on with me in town with the FBI and all this stuff. It's
well,
like,
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
like,
and her
she has
boyfriend's
every
in
right
law,
to-
her partner's in law enforcement.
and that,
Yeah.
and that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so-
and that's a stable or seemingly stable. Like I don't know anything about their story, but like they're
Yeah, I don't
together.
know.
And
Yeah.
and so like of where where she's coming from makes so much sense is all I'm saying.
100%. When you're in a safe household and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden there's
wild
an
card,
element
yeah.
of a wild card, it's not a great feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not great.
Okay. Now, a couple questions about Carly. And this made me think about and you could do a whole episode about Jason's feelings for Carly, but is Jason in love with Carly and will he make a play for her? Like, obviously there's more to come out about,
Yeah, there's more to come on that. So I can't really say anything,
no,
but we know the relationship. Everybody knows the relationship. Just let's talk. We could just talk for a second on
right.
the base relationship is.
Right.
We know.
Yeah. But how would you, is it familial love? What would you call it? Is it friend love? What would you call it?
I don't know, man.
Because I mean, and I've heard people ask about this, like you know, there seems to be, and I could be wrong about this, but there seems to be an element of helping. One of the things that the FBI has is something about her that you were trying to protect. That's been right. Who
Sure.
knows, right? So there, and I think some people have said, well, you know,
But here,
go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead. No, finish your thought. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Like you know, you chose to protect her over telling your kids that you're alive or something like that.
Okay, so there's an interesting point, and I'm going to call BS on this.
Great.
Right now, I'm calling BS.
Great.
Okay, because everybody knows my character.
Sure.
And if they had the same thing on on Sam, or they had the same thing on Elizabeth, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
If they had the same thing on Sonny, I would have done the same thing.
Right. Right.
I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind, because the logic is,
Sure.
who does Danny need more? His mom or his dad?
Right.
And I would say he needs his mom,
Sure.
because she's been there for him and I haven't.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Same thing for Jake.
Yeah.
Who's Jake need more? His mom.
Right.
And then we get to, if they had it on Sonny, I would take the fall.
Sure.
So obviously they were playing on my relationship and emotional connection with Carly.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So to say that I wouldn't have done it for somebody else, I don't think is true.
I think you're right.
But people can debate this all day long, which
Well,
is a great debate.
That's the fun
Which
of
is
it.
it's a great debate, right?
Right.
But going back to Carly, everybody knows that I would do this for Carly.
Sure.
And everybody knows that maybe Jason's a little loyal to a fault.
Mm-hmm.
But he's always been a selfless person.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter to him.
And that's why when the question said, is he in love with her? That's what made me think about, like, well, what kind of love is it? Is it like a sister? Is it like, I know you guys say you're best friends.
That's a good question.
It's
a good question. I mean, because we did cross the line. We were going to get married. We're going to get married for multiple reasons, not just because of our feelings, but it was better for the family. It was better for everybody around us. It was better for everything. Right. So, I don't know. It's interesting to dive into one day when we do. Maybe we get Laura back on the pod and go through it. I don't know I'd like to see what her opinion is.
Right.
But we know the baseline is that Jason always shows up for Carly.
That's right.
So, and that's it.
With Carly and John getting close, would that be complicated if Jagger and Carly were an item?
Yeah, that would be very complicated.
Yeah. Cool.
And I sure would say something.
Yeah.
And then we might have to make Jagger disappear. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Do I do that anymore? I don't even know if that's my occupation anymore.
Right. I don't know.
Find out soon. I'm sure.
We should talk to Adam. It would be fun to have Adam on the show.
No, yeah, he said he would do it. I asked him.
Okay, great. Yeah.
He's cool.
Adam is the guy that plays Jagger.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Will Drew and Jason reconnect and get along like brothers? I don't know what's played yet.
What would your guess be?
Not.
And I'll tell you if you're hot or cold.
Not right away. Not right away.
True.
Yeah. I think that is long story. That could be. I don't think you need to rush into that one either. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, because there's something there if they want to explore it.
Totally. And
but right now, I don't know if that's what needs to be explored right away.
Because you guys are involved in different storylines right now, and
Correct.
I think there's cool opportunities in almost like hey, we're in the same scene. You can kind of get how we feel about each other, and then deal with it later.
They sure will get that coming up.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
And then you set the scene for whatever you want, without having to decide it.
Totally.
I think that, like, make that, if you're gonna go into that, make that something. Don't just
Correct.
play around with it and be careless with it. Make it something,
Sure.
but set the stage for it, which I think they will, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can fans expect to see more Drew and Nina Sparks? Don't know.
Good question.
Good question. Don't know. A lot of talk about Dex being
I would probably, if I was to say, I'd say they could,
They are Sparky.
but why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of talk about Dex being Jason's son. How would Jason feel about that? He's got enough sons to deal with right now, it seems like.
Yeah, please. Is this a competition between me and Sonny? Because I'm sure don't want to be in this competition.
Well,
It would make me feel pretty old, that's number one. So I don't know what they have planned, but I know that's been the rumor forever is Dex your son and he's going to they're going to make him your son. And I don't know. Again, that would have to be something that would have to be told the right way and take
and
the
yeah,
time.
exactly.
And this isn't just hey, at Bobby's, hey, I'm your son, Daddy. And I'm like, I don't know who you're talking to, buddy.
Well,
So,
the current storyline with him, Sonny not being his biggest fan, him might becoming a cop. If that were to come out later, that could be a cool story for later if they decide
that's
to go
Dante and Sonny. That's the same thing.
Right.
So I don't know if we want to rehash that.
Well, but if all of a sudden he becomes Dante's partner and you're all of a sudden Sonny's partner again, and then both of your sons are cops, that's something. That's something.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cops around here.
A lot of cops
I don't know
around
about
here.
this. I don't know about this. PCPD. I don't know about the PCPD, man.
Spinelli and Maxie are still running a bit hot and cold. Can we expect a slow burn story? So I thought about this. I think Maxie and Spinelli are a rom-com. There is I don't think there's ever going to be.
It's a good way to put that.
You know what I mean? Like we're not 50 Shades of Grey. We're a rom-com. And so
you've had one love scene. There's no 50 Shades of anything.
50 Shades of Pale, the Spinelli and Maxie love story.
Yeah. Yes. It's a one-page book, by the way. It's a one-page book.
Oh gosh. So
that's funny.
But that's all to say, like, it's going to be situational comedy with us. It's going to be dealing with the things that we're dealing with, whether it's the domestic stuff. So I think there'll be moments of whether or not they spend multiple episodes, like really leaning into the intricacies of their relationship. I think there may be some really cool dramatic scenes of us.
It's interesting. Yeah, I think they can do it though.
Yeah.
Like if they framed it the way you just said about a rom-com,
yeah,
you could still do those things
in
a
a
completely different way.
Yeah,
right.
There has to be conflict. Because
it's pretty cool.
Then there's no there's no resolution and overcoming.
Next time I say rom-com, punch me in my face. Thank you so much.
So that's all to say. Like I think the way you tell the story of Spinelli and Maxie is a little bit different than you would tell the story of two other characters.
100%.
And that's fun. And I think the story is going to be told, and I'm here for it. So
yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Another reminder to go over to dailydrama.com. Check out all the fun stuff over there.
Yes.
And thanks for joining us.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Do. All right. We'll talk to you next week.
Have a great one.